Hello and welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda. My name is Michael Mjisha. On this particular episode, coffee is in focus. Now you may want to know why. It's simple. Rwanda sold $66 million worth of coffee exports in 2017-2018 only, and the country is looking to embark on a strategy whereby one tree will be producing about 3 kilograms per season. Now we took the road to speak to different stakeholders in the coffee industry, and this is what we're talking about on this episode of Doing Business in Rwanda.
Coffee industry in Rwanda is very wide, and to mention coffee sector, it has been among the so-called traditional export crops because it has been the country since a long time ago, and it still play a major role in forex earning, and also it plays really a big role in monetization of the rural economy.
Elias Hachizamungu lives in Mutenderi sector in Goma district. Now that's more than 100 kilometers away from Kigali. He grows coffee on up to 2 hectares of land with close to 9,000 trees. I have 9,000 coffee trees, but I have a piece of land cleared and readied for more coffee. I want to have at least 15,000 trees by the end of the season. These trees do not work themselves, so I've hired people to work the plantation, cover the trees with grass, and when the coffee berries are ripe, there's some people pick them. Now from last year's harvest, I've managed to buy myself a 3 million Toyota Corolla and send my children to school. I have medical insurance and live a better life off of my coffee farm.
We are focusing much on the quality of coffee because given the number that it is employs, it's because so far we are counting now around that 350,000 farmers countrywide with almost 250,000 trees per farm. So it really plays a big role in the rural economy, and for export is now the second one nowadays, with 15% contributing to the overall agricultural exports.
As Rwanda's coffee exports grow, the country seeks to embark on promotional strategies to raise the local consumption that currently stands at only 2%.
It has been really a challenge because you can imagine mobilizing farmers or any sector that doesn't have local consumption, it can't really develop. So that's why we really encourage as NAIB, we are now focusing on mobilizing people, teaching people, or bringing now the culture of drinking coffee. We think that when we will be able to consume a lot of coffee here in Rwanda, it can also contribute to the revenues, because if we still rely on the international markets without even knowing that we can consume what we are producing here, is still a challenge.
Local people can consume. They were thinking that it's only for Western country. Now I think we have more educated people, and coffee is contributing in our economy. I think one of the challenge was how can we promote our local, what the regulator is calling domestic consumption. I think this is key to help us to promote coffee, and that's why with this coffee festival we can engage and people can learn how to drink coffee and how benefit they can get from the coffee.
The best way to promote our coffee is in each coffee shop, and it's worth to the Rwandans people try the coffee that they export from everywhere in the world. So it's fair that these professionals have the coffee in their coffee shop and give to the consumers, to the regular consumer who are used to try different kind of coffee, different qualities. So it's better to have professionals to give the real stuff for the consumers.
So as coffee shops and baristas, we want to make sure that we're promoting quality in the coffee we're serving. So taking part in these trainings and these competitions allow us to show all the other baristas how they can be better and how we can serve the Rwandan coffee as best best as we can.
Elias coffee, just like any other farmer in Rwanda, ends up on wide load trucks to Kigali. In the capital, it is cleaned, roasted, and packaged for export.
When we started in 2009, we focused on producing what's called fully washed coffee. We started to invest in coffee washing stations, investing in farmer agronomy so that we could produce a higher quality product. When we started, we were quite small. Today, we export about 10.5 million pounds of fully washed coffee. Our pricing is not so much determined by what other countries and what the global price is doing. But we have to be able to produce that kind of quality in high volume. Yeah, Rwanda's reputation for coffee is growing exponentially. And, you know, there are many other coffee origins in the world that have built a reputation for quality. They're also quite a bit more expensive. So, you know, we'd like for Rwanda's coffee to demand a higher price on the global marketplace, but we have to kind of play catch up to those that have been doing this for a long time.
As a country, we can't produce such a huge volume like even in our neighboring countries like Uganda, even compared to Kenya. But we can produce the highest quality, and that's our competitive advantage, and that's where we focus. So looking at the effort that were put in place through the government of Rwanda and together, of course, with the private operators in coffee, since 2000, if you see 2001, at that time where we have only one coffee washing station, that means a station that can produce consistently high quality coffee. And if you look at today, we are at almost 300 and more coffee roasting station across the country. That means that there is a lot of effort going on, and those partners have realized after 7 years that after 2001 and coming to 2007, that the effort that government was putting in place, the private sector together, to promote only high quality coffee was really commendable.
Rwanda is the only country in Africa that hosts the annual Cup of Excellency, a global premier coffee competition and auction. This prestigious competition evaluated thousands of coffees submitted for consideration, with winning coffees sold in global online auctions at premium prices.
Many farmers, many coffee washing stations, every single year they are willing to take part into that, and they are now getting aware. They get to understand that it's one of the additional tool, a very special, important tool, and the avenue to market their coffee. So if you compare to the last year, this is the only year that we've registered a high number of registered lots. This year, we registered 340 lots. When compared to last year, it was only 217 lots. And in addition to that, when we started the Cup of Excellence 2008, the passing score was 84. Now, every year it has moved to 84, 85, now we're 86. Now, you can imagine, we started with 84, we are now up to 86. That means, and you're still getting more people, more coffees that are being eligible for such a competition. That gives us trust, that gives us confidence that there is a positive improvement when you're talking about quality. There is an improvement in terms of people understanding how this can be a very useful tool. There is this kind of enthusiasm among farmers that I won't take part into that, and then they can be able to commit to make the right coffee.
Participating in the Cup of Excellence helps me in marketing my coffee brand. Even when you go to a personal level, whenever you tell your buyers that you are past Cup of Excellence, there is a lot of excitement and there is a lot of expectation from us, which I think it's really important to do it.
Deep down in the villages, approximately 100 plus kilometers away from Kigali. Now we do meet Mr. Ephraim Andenga Baganizi. He is one of the agricultural specialists here, and he specializes in coffee. It's very important to cut back the old trees, at least from 7 to 10 years. See, when coffee trees in a plantation get too old, they no longer yield many berries and do not bring in much money. If you recall, I showed you a 10 acres plantation that I cut back. When the new stem rises, The coffee tree is young again and can bear a lot of berries. That is why this is a necessity for all coffee farmers.
So in the past few years, we've seen that the productivity has gone down, but in most recent years, we've tried now to renew and also to replant some new areas, but also to fill the gaps of those aging trees. So we've helped farmers with technical assistance. As NAEB, we are assisting them by providing them some planting materials. As of now, we've supplied more than 5 million seedlings to support farmers with planting new trees to mitigate that, because it has really affected our productivity per tree.
And that's where we leave it on this episode of Doing Business in Rwanda. We did look at some of the strategies that are being put in place to increase the local consumption, which currently stands at only 2%, and also to see how Rwanda's coffee can be of higher quality to be able to compete on global markets. That's where we leave it. If you have any feedback, be sure to send us an email to dbir@abn360.com or tweet us at DBI Rwanda. From the entire Doing Business in Rwanda team, thank you very much for watching.